so much about what you were doing because the catastrophic effects of that event. Well, the same thing that happened around the Passover when the writers began to remember about Easter, because this was a major celebration in these nations that was transpiring, and they can really tell you about when the resurrection was, or the resurrection event was, because of the Easter celebration during the same time of the Passover that was really going on. Here the Passover instituted because God told Israel not to forget it, and how he brought them out of Egypt, Israel out of Egypt, with a mighty outstretched hand. And so with the major festival that was going on, the Easter and all of those things, it just became attached to the Passover. And so they just intertwined the names, used one with the other. Well, just like when you get into the Bible, since those other three illustrations weren't good enough for you, when you look over in the book of Isaiah, and Isaiah began to say, in the day that King Uzziah died. Now, it was not about King Uzziah, but when he wanted to tell you how he saw the Lord, he can tell you about when it happened, because it was during the time that King Uzziah died. Hello, somebody. So he can relate the event around the timing. Same thing that was happening during the resurrection. You want to know when the resurrection? You remember Easter? And so here we go. We tie it all together. That's why it should be the word Passover, or we just as saints just call it Resurrection Day. But if you want to call these, nothing wrong with that, because that's how you get paid. You don't go to the front office and say, y'all didn't pay me for Resurrection Day. So you had to go there and tell them y'all didn't pay me for Easter. And I worked. Holiday. Hello? But I just wanted you to know that things that we do, and it was festivals that was going on, such as our Easter egg hunts and our this, that, and other, and people wonder, where did that really come from? Well, it was nothing that God told us to do. And don't get mad, don't bust the kids' party. I don't think God gonna send the hell for them with all them little eggs that they're gonna be putting out later. I don't know if I can use that on TV. But nevertheless, the resurrection had nothing to do. You know, back when I was growing up, we had so many things that we was told to keep us occupied and to keep us pacified, especially when you had a loose tooth. Our little kid, won't you go to bed early like you got tooth? Back then we had some, I guess that's means so many of our teeth so be messed up, because you got your tooth pulled with some string. Very few of them went to doctors in my age. They had some thread that they put it around and just about kill you. They didn't yank it out straight. They just pulled it out to the side, bleeding like a mule. And they tell you, just save your tooth, called the tooth fairy. They told us so many lies we growed up and saying, tooth fairy gonna put a little something under your pillow. The kids looking right now like, man, I just heard that. And you go to bed, all tooth fall out your head and got tooth under the pillow. I know I did that, and Mom and them forgot to put that, whatever it was, that quarter, wasn't no dollar. They forgot to put it up under the pillow. I woke up that morning, I was disappointed. And they just told me another lie. I said, well, he on the way, he had to make a stop down the street. Go in the bathroom for a few minutes. There I go with my little foolish self. I go in the bathroom and come back. Say, he done been by. Look under your pillow. Oh, the quarter. We grew up with all kinds of stuff. Hello, somebody. I mean, same thing, you know, with the Christmas aspect. God bless us. We get to Christmas and basically somebody else get the credit for your folk working all year long. And I told you I had the world's greatest disappointments when it came down to the holiday. It was all right till I learned better. And that stuff sent you to a state of depression. It just ain't right. Once you find out, you don't have the same kind of feeling. I can see how folk be backsliding. That's a good example how to do it. I mean, you know, you go there, you're looking for one thing, and you get another, and they done pump Santa Claus to be who he's supposed to be. Already done told us, you know, we did have a fireplace, but the whole one, but that big. And they told us that Santa was going to come down, and I always, I was a little bit of, I can remember 3 and 4, 5 years old, trying to look up at that hole and trying to determine how. And they said that Santa got such powers, boy, that he can just make himself small and come down the hole. You better watch out. Better not cry. Santa Claus is coming by. And so they had me good for about 2 weeks. They start off about the first 2 weeks in December. You be just real good at school, everywhere. Just threaten you with Santa ain't gonna bring you nothing. That all these 6 billion houses, he was gonna stop by with this sleigh with Rudolph and Dancer and Prancer and them other reindeer. And that he was gonna land on the roof and come down that little hole. And the folk that did not have fireplaces, just leave your door open. And put your cookies and the milk up under the tree, and you leave your door open now. I tell you that. That's what you do. You wake up in somebody's trunk. And I'd already been, those of them around my age, years ago at Bellevue and Macklemore, there was a store called TG&Y. It used to be right next to Western Auto. And it was kind of a commodity store, had some of everything. And back when I was coming up, Rifleman, Chuck Connors was the popular thing going on. Rifleman used to come on, you know that thing, dun, 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 dun. He had that big gun with the loop on it, that Winchester rifle. He'd spin it, clock, clock, dun, 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 dun. And I wanted that because everybody in the neighborhood talking about getting a Rifleman rifle. It had some little plastic shells that pop out the side. And I saw it in TG&Y, and I told my mama, I said, Dad, that's a gun I want, Mama. And my mother said, you sure you want that, baby? I'm going to tell Santa Claus. Back then, we can go in the side door on Gayoso Street in Maine because it was Goldsmith, and they called the Enchanted Forest. You know, we couldn't go through Main Street, though. We had to go to the side door, Gayoso door. So we go in through there. They had a little section for us to go to see the Santa Claus. What do you want? I said, I want the Rifleman rifle. You should get you a Rifleman rifle. Mama done already told the man. While the other sisters had me at a decoy somewhere else, she done told him, you know, and he knew me because when William, what do you want? You know, I thought that was just amazing. Kind of like church. I go to church and see the folk, call folk out. So I was just waiting on that rifle. So it got wet Christmas, and I was so dumb because the box was under there, had the paper, and you could shake stuff. I couldn't put it together. How was Santa Claus going to bring what I see? I'm messing these kids up now. They really taking this in. And I couldn't understand how he's supposed to bring this. But anyway, they told me to go to bed early. I went to bed early. About 5 o'clock in the morning, I just got up. I went to Mama and said, okay, all right, everybody got up. And they was opening up skates and this, that, and the other. And I was just tearing over that box. William, here your Rifleman rifle. Oh, man. I tore that box open, and I looked. I couldn't believe what I saw. I looked. She said, William, take your rifle. It was a pistol in there that long. I ain't lying. I went to a state. I said, what the? It was that long. I went into a state of depression. I would have run away from home if I had somewhere to go. I just didn't have nowhere to go. I looked at that thing. She said, hi, baby, here goes some paper caps. Put your paper cap. I couldn't break it. I put it on the steps and tried to jump on it, you know, so you could try to break it. Couldn't break it. And I said, now, she think I'm finna go outdoors. And then it had a host, they called them scabbage back then. Here go your scabbage, baby. And it was taller than me. The gun was actually taller than me. A pistol. It was called Huey, H-U-E-Y. Never will forget it, because that thing left a devastating impression on me. I hadn't believed in Santa Claus since that day. Man, if I could have found out how to get out of there and run away, I would have run away. And my mama was, you know, I could understand it, but to some years later, they were doing the best they can. And gonna try to send me out there with that gun. Everybody else out there twirling their little rifle, my rifle. I got this big old baggy pistol with that long. Depressing. So it really messes you up when you don't hear the right story and you find out later. Hello, it messed some of y'all up because, don't get me wrong, you know, some things we do just good to do them. Good family, good clean family, community stuff. Probably ain't nothing wrong with no egg. You know, some people try to make a doctrine out of everything. Y'all worship some. I understand. But teach them that it ain't the egg. It ain't that chocolate covered bunny you got out there in your car that's melting right now. I'm gonna hold you till it melts. But it's about the resurrection. This resurrection took place at the time of the Passover. It came into existence through the fact that Christ was typified by the Paschal Lamb. I'm through now, time to go. And the lamb was slain at the Passover. You got to understand, even when God was connecting the dots way back then, when he took Moses and told Moses how to kill the lamb, then told him how to preserve the blood, and then told him to take the meat and how to prepare it special way. But he said, I want you to take the blood and put it on the doorpost and on the lintel of the door, and about midnight. That's dark hour, ain't it? He said, I'm going to come through. Death angel going to come through. But when he see the blood, when you see the blood, he would, in the Hebrew, pass over means that he going to literally skip over or hop over that house. He said, but when I see the blood, but every house that had not the blood, firstborn would die in that house. And by midnight, the Bible said there was a great cry made throughout Egypt. Matter of fact, it was so terrible that it got all the way down into Pharaoh's house. And that's when he evicted Israel out of Egypt. And God said, I want you to remember the Passover. I don't want you to think you came out of Egypt with your own strength. But it was God that brought you out with a mighty outstretched hand. And that killing of that lamb was symbolic. Even what happened all over 2,000 some years ago. And how is it that God brought us out there on that mount called Calvary? And God just wants us to know that's why we got to keep these days and honor these days that we know it's resurrection day, because he don't want us to forget. You didn't say it yourself. God sent his best, which was his only begotten son. Or when you look at the story, when we get back over to the chapter 26, and you see how Jesus was in the garden called Gethsemane, and while he was there and while he was praying, the Bible said he prayed.
Well, friends, I trust that you have enjoyed today's television broadcast coming from the Liberty Church of God in Christ. I'll tell you, God has done tremendous things here at the Liberty Church and is yet doing tremendous things. Bodies are being healed, backsliders are being reclaimed, and sinners are being saved. We invite you to come and be with us at your earliest convenient time. Why don't you visit our website at libertywsw.com. There you can receive any further information concerning the ministry or yours truly. And we are continually praying for you and yours, and we ask that you continue to pray for the Liberty Church family. Until our next broadcast, may God bless you real good. God bless you now.